up, everybody? Jimmy Blais here. Thanks for watching the first video of the Actor Kit 4-part tutorial series as a part of the Create to Learn at Home program that's being offered by Taking It Global in partnership with Imaginative. The first part was, how to prep for an audition. This part 2, is going to talk about how to create a self-tape. Now, what's a self-tape? Pretty self-explanatory. When you can't make it into a room for an audition, whatever the case may be, whether you're on vacation or the audition is happening in a different city, the casting house or the director or the producers will ask you to do a self-tape. And all it is you put yourself on video doing the scene. Now, it sounds pretty easy and pretty self-explanatory, but there are certain things that you can do to make your self-tape better. There are even companies out there that offer self-tape services that just make it simpler on you. If you could do that, I recommend it. If not, there's no problem with doing it at home, and I'm going to help you just figure out what the do's and the don'ts are of self-tapes. So here we go. So first things first, find yourself a wall. Now, it's got to be a plain wall, nothing with anything hanging on it. We just want to be able to see you and nothing else. No clutter, nothing that's going to distract the eye away from your performance. So here's an example. Okay, so here's an example of what not to do. There's way too many things in the way. There's a mirror behind me. It's just a little too distracting. Now, a lot of people that I ask to help me do self-tapes, especially people in the video and film world, their instinct is to make it more interesting in the background, to have things going on. But that's not what you want for a self-tape. What you want to do is try to find a neutral wall, a plain wall with nothing on it. This is an example of what I use. So here we go. My black blind has been turned into or transformed into a background for self-tapes. It's not bad, right? It's less busy, you can see me a bit better, and definitely no clutter around me. Now, once we get the framing right, this is actually going to turn into a pretty decent backdrop for your self-tape. Next, let's talk about how you're going to film. So right now I have my phone, because all you really need is your phone, set up on a tripod with a light that I bought off of Amazon for under $70. I'll show you what that looks like. My light, the one I was talking to you about, the one that I found online for about $70. The light is adjustable. Behind there is some buttons. You turn it up or down, and here's the clamp you can use to put your phone into. If you don't have this, it's not a big deal. You can just find a different way. I used to just prop it up using boxes or books or whatever. But this is definitely handy in terms of lighting, because the lighting is great. But if you don't have that, like I said, you can just prop it up on books and you can figure out the lighting yourself. In terms of lighting, if you don't have a light, the next best thing you can do is try to find a window or a lamp or a couple of lamps to help light your face. And you always want to get the light in front of you and behind your camera and not behind you. So right now the window is in front of me, so you can see my face. But look what happens when the light is behind me. Not so great. The light behind me, you can still see my face, but it's not ideal. So always try to get the light in front of you and behind your camera, okay? Next, let's talk about camera angle. You want to try to get the phone at about eye level or just above eye level. What you really want to try to avoid is getting the angle coming up. Nobody wants a double chin. Look. Not flattering, right? Set up for a self-tape. I got the light in front of me. I got my neutral backdrop behind me. The way my room is set up right now, it's not perfect, but it's way better than it was before. I'd have to move some furniture around, which you could do. But in terms of self-tapes, this is a pretty good setup. Now, let's look eye line. Eye line is essentially where you're looking when you're acting. Right now, I'm more or less looking directly into the camera. When you're performing with your reader or your scene partner, you're going to want to do some tests in terms of where it is you're looking, okay? I'll give you an example of what not to do. It might feel good to go over here and start talking to a scene partner, but we're getting a lot of my profile and we're not seeing my eyes. And when somebody's trying to catch you in something, what they're looking for is your reactions, the way you listen, and a lot of that is reflected through your eyes. So you're going to want to bring your eyeline somewhere back to in and around this area. What you want to try to avoid is getting too close to the camera itself so that it actually looks like you're looking into the camera. We don't want to look dead into the camera. We want to maybe split the difference between something like this and something like this where I'm looking right into the camera. So again, do some tests, but you're going to find your eye line in and around somewhere around here, okay? Your final product should look something similar to this. Remember, get yourself a blank neutral backdrop, get the light in front of you, the camera at about eye level, in landscape, not portrait. Find yourself a scene partner, make sure your eye line is in the right spot, work your scene together, and voila, you can produce a pretty decent self-tape. Alright, thanks for watching. Till the next one. Wu knees, everyone.